Most people have never heard someone die. The moaning, the crying, the begging, that final ragged breath before everything goes still. Most people will go their whole lives without hearing any of it. I do, every day. No, I'm not some serial killer on a righteous mission to purify the world. I'm a 911 operator. When I took the job 10 years ago, I figured it would mostly be like air traffic control, only for ambulances, firefighters, and police. And for a large part of the job, that's true. That's the manageable part. Death is the harder part. Listening to someone slip away leaves a hollow in you, a place that never really fills back in. The first time I heard someone's grandmother die before paramedics could reach her, I had to leave my shift early. The first time a child called in, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried for half an hour. Mama's not moving. I need someone big to help. That little boy's voice still loops in my head. The trick is finding something mindless to do after work, something that helps your brain come down. Some operators knit. One woman makes quilts based on scenes from her favorite fantasy novels. A few people read horror tie-in books. Me? I do jigsaw puzzles. Every night when I get home, no matter how exhausted I am, I sit at my puzzle desk and fit together a few more pieces. Bit by bit, the image comes into focus. It helps. Eventually, you learn how to compartmentalize. Work stays at work. Tragedy happens constantly. Your job is to respond. People die every day. Sometimes, all you can give them is your voice, your words becoming the last comfort they hear before they meet St. Peter. It's a blessing and a curse. People assume this is a simple job, but most of them live inside a comfortable little bubble. I don't bother correcting them. Why would I ruin their day? What kind of ghoul starts talking over snacks about the old man who sobbed because his wife stopped breathing, and how her children are going to be shattered when they find out? I'd never get invited back to bunko night again, that's for sure. But last night, I got a call that shook me in a way I haven't been shaken in years. Actually, it was a series of calls. Every hour, on the hour, for my whole shift. Same number, same place, same man. I had just settled into my chair when it started. Fran, the woman who shares my cube, had left her usual mess of crushed corn chips across the console. Muttering the kind of things HR would frown on, I swept them into the trash. Fran was kind, sweet, and a good operator, but cleanliness was not one of her gifts. I'd always suspected she might be a hoarder, though I had no intention of ever visiting her house to confirm it. "You ready?" Mary asked from the cubicle across from mine. Mary is one of those people who always seems cheerful, which in this line of work feels borderline supernatural. She's our resident smartass, and trust me, in a place like this, you need one. Her sense of humor is pure gallows humor, which never quite matches her church board member face. But people contain multitudes. "How's it been so far?" I asked. Mary immediately shook her head. "I'm not saying the Q word, meaning quiet. You never say it in a dispatch room. The second anyone says things are quiet, the universe punishes you for it." "Please don't," I said. "I'm still recovering from yesterday. Full moons always bring out the weirdos." "Supposed to be full again tonight," she GK, pointing finger guns at me. "Brace yourself for corpses." Despite myself, I GK. "Jesus, Mary." She shrugged. "It's coming. It always does. Moonlight pulls in violent lunatics. That's why we call them lunatics. Luna, lunatic." That is absolutely not why. GK footprint is everywhere, sweetheart. GK, if there's one thing I know, it's Latin men with big footprints. She stuck her tongue out, put on her headset, and grinned. "I swear to God, you are unbelievable." "What would Bob say if he heard that?" I asked. "Bob knows my weaknesses. He acts up, I'm booking the first flight to Guadalajara." I sat down at my station. "And leave all this behind?" "Feh," she said, waving a hand. "Give me heat and a beach over fluorescent lights any day." Then her line rang and she sighed. "Back to the grind." I pulled my own headset over my prematurely graying hair and waited. Not long. 911, what is your emergency?" Static filled the line. That's common now. Cell phones, bad service, panic, bad weather. Static comes with the territory. Patience matters in this job. Calm matters even more. You can't mirror the caller's fear. You can't start spiraling just because they are. If you can't stay steady, you wash out fast. 911, hello? A fit of coughing came through the speaker. Then a man's voice, hoarse and strained. I think my house is on fire. Male, GK, aged, voice rough, possibly from smoke inhalation. My brain started sorting details automatically while my GK alerting the incident file, recording everything. GK, I said, what's your address? 1812 Blanchard, White House, near the creek. Okay, tell me what's happening. Can you see flames? No, I'm in the bedroom. I don't know what happened. GK's in the other room, I think. GK's a lot of smoke. The door feels hot. I hate fire calls. Fires are chaos. They grow too fast, move too unpredictably. Once, I had a married couple trapped in an SUV after a semi hit them. GK caught fire before responders got there. I had to stay on the line and listen while they burns. Okay, I said. Fire and ambulance are on the way. Is anyone else in the house? Jesus, the fire is... His words broke apart in another coughing fit. It's so hot. Help is coming. Can you get out through a window? It's nailed shut. That was odd. Disturbing even. I added a note. GK, can you break it? It's hurricane glass, I think. Hold on. He moved away from the phone. I heard dull thuds, the strain of impact, but no shattering. Then he came back, breathing GK. It's not breaking. Morse GK is getting in. Get low to the floor and stay calm. Do you have anything heavy nearby? A lamp, a bat, anything you can use? He coughed again. The line GK. Shit, I muttered. I grabbed the number from the screen and GK'd away to call back, but first I contacted dispatch. I need a fire truck and ambulance sent to 1812 Blanchard Street. Adult male trapped in a bedroom, no other occupants reported. Mary popped up over the divider like a prairie dog. She clearly wanted to ask something but had the decency to wait until I finished. I called the number back. Disconnected. A cold little twist passed through me. Dispatch, I said. I can't reconnect with the caller. Line is dead. A pause. Then, operator, what was the address again? 1812 Blanchard, White House, near the creek. Another pause. Operator, units are on Blanchard now. Street numbers stop at 1810. There's no fire, no smoke, nothing. I frowned and checked my notes. No mistake. 1812 Blanchard, I repeated. That's what he gave me. I tried the number again. Disconnected. I relayed that to the fire department. Operator, the dispatcher said, sounding irritated now, there is no house with that address. Mary came around my cubicle, pulled up the recorded audio, and replayed the address portion. Every call is archived for exactly this reason. She listened, scribbled the words down, and turned the paper toward me. 1812 Blanchard. We confirmed it, I said into the line. That is the address he gave us. Are you positive the numbers stop at 1810? Affirmative. We'll keep looking, but this may be a prank. Copy. I hung up. Mary nodded toward the phone. Full moon. If he was acting, he was good. It didn't feel fake. You'd be shocked. Some actors start on stage, others start prank calling emergency services. You did what you were supposed to do. I know, I said, leaning back, but something about it feels wrong. Need a break? I wanted one. God, I wanted one. I wanted to walk into the break room and breathe for 5 minutes. But if I stepped away, the team would be down a person, and on a full moon night, that was the last thing we needed. I'm okay, I said. Just hate when calls go sideways. This one's not on us, Mary said. They gave us bad information. We still sent help. Yeah. We'll send them back in a few days when the smell reaches the neighbors. Mary. She winced. Too far? A little. Sorry. Want a snack from the vending machine? My treat. No, thanks. Before she walked away, she pointed at me. Don't stew. Then my phone rang again, and the moment was gone. That's one small mercy of this job. Even on the worst nights, you don't get to sit with anything for long. You just keep moving. You can fall apart later in your therapist's office. An hour passed. Then the same number lit up my console. 911, what is your emergency? Hello? The man whispered. I want to report a fire. I knew the voice immediately. Sir, did you call earlier? I don't know, he said, sounding honestly confused. I just woke up in my house and I can smell burning. The smoke's thick, it's everywhere. Mary rose over my desk again. Is that him? She mouthed. I nodded. She moved to my side of the cubicle. I didn't love having an audience, but this call had crossed into strange territory. Are you still at your house? I asked. I think so. What is the address? 1812 Blanchard. We sent units there. They couldn't find any house. Are you sure that's correct? Yes, he said with an offended little cough. I know my own address. Mary scribbled a note and held it up. Clarify address for record. You are confirming 1812 Blanchard? I asked. Yes. Oh. He stopped. I found the bedroom door. It's not hot anymore. Can you open it? There was a crash, followed by a startled yelp. I leaned closer, pressing the earpieces tighter, trying to catch any clue in the background. When he came back, his voice sounded farther away. The door just fell off its hinges. I'm in the hallway now. It's pitch black. The walls are covered in soot. Mary wrote another note. Unit nearby. Can he hear them? Sir, we have responders near your location, but they still can't find you. Do you hear them? Sirens? Voices? My hallway isn't this long, he said. Sir, call out for them. A scream tore through the line. Then silence. Then the call dropped. My hands were already redialing. Mary rushed back to her desk and relayed the update to the ambulance unit on scene. But when I called again, the line was dead. I yanked my headset off so hard it smacked the desk. Unit says they didn't hear any scream, Mary said. This isn't a prank, I said. Something's happening. It's definitely weird, she said. Did you hear anything useful? No, I still don't even have his name. That was when Stephen, our supervisor, wandered over. The flying headset had probably caught his attention. In his job, any sign that one of us might be losing composure meant he had to step in. You're allowed to be human here, but only in measured doses. Ladies, he said, what's going on? Sorry about the headset, I said. He raised a hand, smiling mildly. As I am constantly reminding management, you are not robots. Mary gave him the quick version. Guy's called twice, claims there's a fire, gives an address that doesn't exist, nobody can find him. He called an hour apart, Stephen said. If the house were really burning, it would be gone by now. That's what I thought. Does it feel like a prank? I hesitated. He sounds confused, frightened, genuine, but I can't place it. Stephen nodded. Let me hear the calls. I slid over and he took my chair. He plugged in his pristine little supervisor headphones, played the first call, then the second, then again, then once more. Finally, he pulled the headset away. You handled both calls well, Doreen, he said. Thanks. He looked at me carefully. Did you notice a woman screaming in the background? I blinked. What woman? It's faint, but it's there in both calls. He replayed the recording and handed me the headset. This time I heard it. A scream. Thin, buried, but unmistakably there. Jesus Christ, I whispered. How did I miss that? Stephen smiled faintly. I'm basically the sonar guy from the Hunt for Red October. I have no idea what that means. Mary leaned over from behind the wall. Peak Alec Baldwin, great hair, worth watching. Stephen ignored her. If he calls again, get me immediately. He went back to his rounds. As soon as he was out of earshot, I exhaled. I thought he was going to chew me out. Stephen's uptight, not cruel, Mary said. He gets this job. He knows what it does to people. Still, showing emotion here is normal, she said. And if they wanted emotionless voices, they'd replace us with AI. God forbid, Mary snorted. The AI would probably tell people to walk directly into the fire. I laughed despite myself. Then, 1 hour later, he called again. "Hello?" he said softly. I want to report a fire. Are you still at 1812 Blanchard Street?" "I don't know," he admitted. "I was, but I've been walking down this hallway for a long time." "Do you still see fire?" "It smells like smoke, but I don't see flames. It's hazy." Stephen appeared beside me, notepad in hand. "What's his name?" "Sir, what's your name?" "Mike." "Mike what?" He didn't answer. Instead, he said, "I think I hear footsteps." Stephen wrote another question. "Do you hear the women?" I frowned but asked it anyway. "Mike, who are the women in the background?" "What?" "I hear women screaming. Do they need help?" "No," he said too quickly. "There are no women." I looked at Stephen. He didn't buy it. Neither did Mary, who had once again risen into view over my cubicle wall, silently shaking her head. "Is there someone we can call for you?" I asked. "Family, friend, anybody who might know where you are?" "It's getting hotter. I think I'm getting closer to the fire." He broke into a coughing fit. "I think I'm in the living room, but my furniture's gone. Was I robbed?" The line went dead. Again. "Damn it," I breathed. "Call back," Stephen said. I did. Disconnected. He stood there thinking, but the pitch of his voice when he finally said, "This is odd," told me more than the words did. To anyone else, he sounded curious. To those of us who knew him, he sounded worried. "What do you think is happening?" I asked. "Let me hear the third call again." He replayed it 4 times before taking off the headset. "There's wailing," he said. "Very faint, a kind of roar under the call, like a stadium full of people groaning all at once." Mary and I listened. He was right. "Is there a game at Washington Park?" Mary asked. "Not tonight, I don't think." "Maybe Wind Through the Trees," she suggested. "That can sound strange over a bad line." Stephen was already pulling out his phone. "Let me call someone." He phoned a patrol officer he knew and asked him to check both the area near the stadium and the end of Blanchard Street if he had time. After he hung up, he looked at us and said what all supervisors say when they don't believe their own reassurance. "It's probably a prank." Mary and I both knew he didn't believe that. When he walked off, she leaned in. "He thinks it's something worse." "Like what?" "Either someone with serious head trauma wandering around in the woods," she said, "or somebody playing games with us. Something ugly." "I don't know. Mike sounds aware in a way. He sounds confused, but aware that he's confused." Mary scrunched up her face. "That sentence makes my head hurt. I mean, he doesn't sound drunk or totally gone, just displaced. Kidnapped? Maybe." She nodded slowly. "Could be." I rubbed at my forehead. I wish I had his last name. "In between calls, maybe we can find him," Mary said. "I know a guy in housing records." I gave her a look. "A guy?" She grinned. "A work flirt, different thing." "Apparently." "Listen, words matter. A fling is physical. A flirt is just fun." "Fine, call your records flirt." She saluted and went to text him. I kept taking calls, but my brain kept circling back to Mike. Something about the whole thing felt wrong in a way I couldn't articulate. Half an hour later, Mary returned looking energized. "You are not going to believe this," she said. Before she could continue, my line rang. Same number. I answered immediately. 911, what is your emergency?" "Something is following me," Mike whispered. "I can't see it, but it's moving in the dark." "Where are you, Mike?" A pause. "How do you know my name?" "You've called before." "I have?" A low growl rolled through the line. My entire body locked up. "Mike, is there somewhere safe you can hide?" No response. Another growl. Closer this time. And beneath it, that wailing again. Not just screaming now. Agony. Men. Women. Something else, too, something that didn't sound entirely human. Mike? It moved away, he whispered. I don't hear it anymore. Mike, what is your last name? The smoke's thinning, he said instead. There's a light up ahead. Someone's there. I think they're calling me. Can you hear that? Is that your people? Stephen was beside me in an instant, shaking his head. That's not us, I said. Mike, do not go towards them. Find a place to hide. There's a man up ahead. Hello? Mike, where are you? The call dropped. He's in danger, I said. Mary looked at both of us. He's not at 1812 Blanchard. We know that, Stephen said. No, she said quietly. I mean because it burned down in 1987. The words hit the room like a slammed door. Stephen stared at her. I stared at her. She went on. My housing guy checked old records. 1812 was the first house built out there, back before the subdivision went in. Dirt road, creek nearby, rural property. The fire department suspected arson, but never proved it. Who lived there? I asked. A man named Michael. Every muscle in my body went tight. Michael what? That's the strange part. The record was damaged. His last name was unreadable. Did he die in the fire? Stephen asked. Mary shook her head. No body was ever found. He vanished. Never claimed insurance. House rotted, land changed hands, road got developed. What the hell? I whispered. Before anyone could say anything else, the phone rang again. All three of us looked at it. Then I answered. The line crackled violently. At first, there was nothing but static and that awful wavering hum of crossed wires. Then the sound sharpened, and Mike's voice came through. But he wasn't speaking to me. He was speaking to someone else. I've been walking through this smoke forever, Mike said. Another voice answered. It was deep, slow, measured. Indeed, you have been lost for a very long time. My skin went cold. If that's true, Mike said, then what is that smell? A smell you've known before, the stranger replied. I don't know what you mean. Yes, you do. Then came the sound. Fire. Not the muffled suggestion of it this time, not distant crackling. This was immediate and vivid, an explosion of heat and flame so real I flinched in my chair. Behind my closed eyes, I saw orange light bloom across darkness. Then came the screams. Not one voice, dozens. Women sobbing, begging, praying, burning. I don't know how to explain what happened next, except to say I wasn't just hearing it. I was inside it. I saw girls in the last seconds of their lives, their faces contorted with terror, their skin darkening under the fire, hands beating uselessly against flames that wouldn't be put out. I heard pleas for mercy that no one answered. I heard them calling upward to a God who did not intervene. And underneath it all, their voices seemed to say one thing. Hear us. Please hear us. Then, all at once, it stopped. Quiet. Then sobbing. Soft, broken sobbing. Mike, I didn't have a choice, he whispered. I had to do it. It's what I am. It's how God made me. The stranger laughed. There was no joy in that laugh, only patience. They're waiting for you, he said. Please, Mike cried, please let this end. God is not welcome where we are going. Where are we going? I was gripping the headset so hard my fingers hurt. I knew now that this wasn't a prank. It wasn't even really a call anymore. It was a reckoning. Footsteps echoed. Then the stranger spoke again. Your time has come, Michael. Your wandering is over. Beyond this door lies the answer to everything denied to your kind. But knowledge is never free. There is always a debt. Michael, I said softly, even though I knew he couldn't hear me. Michael, can you hear me? The line went dead. I tore the headset off, hair snagging in the band. My hands were shaking, tears spilled hot and sudden down my face. Stephen put a hand on my shoulder. "Go home," he said. Mary wrapped me in a crushing hug and whispered a prayer into my hair while I sobbed against her shoulder. When I could stand again, I thanked them and left. But I didn't go home. I drove to Blanchard Street, or rather, to where it ended. 1810 was the last number. Beyond it, woods. I parked and got out. The night air was cold, the moon was high. Somewhere nearby, water moved softly over stone. The first caller's words came back to me. White House, near the creek. I followed the faint trace of an old driveway swallowed by grass. If you weren't looking for it, you'd miss it entirely. But I was looking. The remains of old utility lines lay tangled in the weeds, telephone cable, power line, long dead. The creek found me before the house did. Then my flashlight caught the shape of it. Burned foundation stones, rot-blackened remnants. The remains of a house the world had forgotten. I stood there for a long moment, listening to the water and the distant hiss of wind through leaves, and then some instinct I didn't understand pulled me toward the back of the ruin. I dropped to my knees and started digging. It didn't take long. The soil turned gray with ash. Then my finger struck bone. I recoiled so hard I nearly fell backward. A femur, burned, polished pale in the moonlight. If I kept digging, I knew I'd find more. He had buried them there, kidnapped them, killed them, burned them alive, hidden them beneath the house, and walked away believing he would never be found. And for nearly 30 years, he had been right. I sat back on my heels and cried. I had never known those girls, never seen the lives they might have lived, the future they were denied. But in those sounds on the phone line, I had known them in the worst possible way, only at the end. I clenched my fists and pounded the dirt. They deserved better. Then something prickled across the back of my neck. I turned. Dozens of small white lights hovered in the dark beyond the ruin. They floated together over one patch of ground, silent and still. And the second I stepped toward them, they vanished. I moved to where they had been. The severed end of an ancient telephone line disappeared into the earth there. Mike was buried underneath. Or Michael. His ending had already found him. But I wasn't interested in digging for him. He had his answer. It was time the others were found. It was time their families stopped wondering. It was time they came home. I took out my phone and dialed 911. When the operator answered, I said, "Hello, I need police sent out here. I found human remains."